Okay, hi guys. That was such a long wait. I had to wait for Zoom to upload on my phone and it was going like do, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm so excited to just like do this live with you guys. And it turned out that I couldn't even go live. I'm a little bit tech tarded. But I wanted to share with you guys some of the visions that I've been seeing for humanity. I'm just not going to be afraid anymore to speak what I see. Like I said in my story on Instagram, like I'm kind of past the point. I feel like we're meeting people where they're at the very beginning stages of their spiritual awakening. If you don't open your mouth soon enough, then that kind of energy will just fizzle out. And not that it fizzles out and nothing happens. It's that new energy comes in all the time. And for creators and for entrepreneurs, if it happens within the solar plexus, if you have energy that's coming through the solar plexus and then coming all the way around and then ends up here, if you don't do anything about it, it either sits here, it fizzles out, or it starts to actually back that energy up. And I call that spiritual constipation, where you're not letting that energy out, and then new stuff comes in and then you're letting it full circle and then it comes out. So that's kind of all our solar plexus stuff. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, I've really been struggling with some procrastination lately. One of the biggest things that I have for procrastination is just getting back into my day planner. I have a day planner where I literally write everything that I want to do. Oh, hello. I literally write everything that I want to do step by step, even if it seems like it's just like the smallest phone call that I have to make or a text that I have to send. I write that down, and that helps me so much with my procrastination. So um, if you guys are struggling with that, you do not have a day planner where you write every single little thing down on the date. That's the very first thing that I did. And it's like one of the things that really, really helps me. Anyways, so I really wanted to share with you guys what I see for like the next couple years for humanity. 2003, I really still see there being this, this back and forth. So a lot of us, if not all of us, are now very aware that a lot of the things that we thought were real are one big fat lie, and that the media lies, and that social media lies, and that they're covering up all of these corruptions. The government is back, the healthcare system, and everything is crumbling down, even the financial system with the Federal Reserve that started back in 1912. And it's funny, with the sink of the submarine, we're seeing a lot of coming back of the information about the Titanic, and the reason why the Titanic sent. There's this whole thing about that, about how they were two sister ships and how they were swapped right before, because the Olympic actually already had previous damage, and they swapped it last minute because the Federal Reserve was being formed with the wealthy bankers, the privatized bankers. And there was two or three people that were not on board with the Federal Reserve. And so those men, those wealthy bankers, said, no, we don't want the Federal Reserve. And they were on the Titanic and they sunk. And that's this big thing about then how, basically any opposition, see you later, on the hit list, right? Like just like the Clintons, pew pew, bye. Anything that stands in our way, anything that stands in the opposition of our plan, goodbye. So I'm not going to get into that, but things like that are surfacing right now. Same with like all the child trafficking and all of that that's coming into light. The impeachment of like Biden and all of this stuff, like politically in the healthcare system, like all of the truth is coming up and out. So we're realizing that this old system that we've always had is very broken. But it's not enough to just sit in that. It's not enough to just wake up to that and then now what, right? So the world's broken. If you don't like what you're seeing, then what do you want to create, and what do you want the future to look like? And like I said in my previous video that I posted, we have a chance now to really create that. And it depends on how much you're willing to open up your third eye, which is your imagination, how much you're willing to trust and believe that you have the power of your consciousness, and that is like, that's your power. Your consciousness is your power. And there's so many things that people, the elites, have done to try to enslave your consciousness. It's a war on consciousness. It's a war on conscious awakening. But we're going through it, whether they like it or not. It's something that cannot be stopped. You can't stop what's coming. So 2023 is still that year where like a lot of people are still stuck in some 3D, some 5D. So they know that what they see they don't like, and they know that there has to be a better alternative. And some people have already started to entertain the 5D realm of like the 5D reality of what do you want? How can we create a reality for humanity of what we actually do want to see? And then if that's kind of really crystal clear in your vision, then as it is in mine, like I've really thought about that, and I really really do see. So the one thing that I see, well, I'll get into that. But for 2023, we're really still kind of 1 foot into the 3D and 1 foot into 5D. And then sometimes we're like, yeah, love and light, 5D, creatrix, 100%. I create my own reality. I create my own quantum entanglement reality for myself. Nobody can bring me down. And then we get like jolted into the 3D reality where it's like taxes, inflation, sickness, death, like, fear. And so it's like, where are you spending the majority of your time is the big question. So we're natural, we're human, we're going to have really good days and we're going to have really bad days. Where are you spending the majority of your time? And have you really been building out what you want that 5D reality to look like? And if there's any questions about like what that looks like, then just ask me, because I have a lot of, I would maybe call them templates to get you started and get your mind started on entertaining that and kind of like what you're getting at when you're creating that 5D reality for yourself and for humanity. But I really do see 2023 still being this year where we're very much like push and pull, like we're 5D, and then like 2 steps back into 3D, and we're like, what the fuck? And then we go forward again and everything's good, and then we get pulled back into the matrix. So it's this whole idea of gradually entertaining the creatrix, which means you create with your consciousness, and rolling back into the matrix the way things have always been, the system, and that kind of stuff. So in 2024, I really do believe that something is going to happen to a lot of the people that right now might not look like they're fully awake, might not look like they believe in their consciousness, that they're waking up to all of these lies. They think they're still very much conspiracy theories and that kind of thing. But in 2024, I really do see a lot of those kind of sleepers of humanity waking up in a big way, because in 2025 I really see that being like the getting over the worst part, and then we're going to start seeing light, a lot of light coming. Then we're going to start to see the tables flip, and we're actually going to start to see like the light at the end of the tunnel. But before that happens, we're going to see these sleepers have an experience where it really blows their paradigm apart. And I sort of see that happening in 2024. And then in 2025 to 2030, what I've been seeing is like a lot of this whole like new technologies being released. So I work with a quantum scalar frequency technology. I don't shut up about it. It's called the Healy. I use it pretty much every day. It helps your physical body for your cells to vibrate at 100. I don't know what the measurement is. I think it's 100 MV. That's that of an optimal body cell vibration, and that of 15, the number 15, the vibration of 15 is like a disease or like a half dead person. So that's very, very bad. So this machine is just tiny little, I don't have mine here right now, but it's just a small thing that goes on with your phone through an app, and it helps your physical body cells to vibrate on the most optimal level. It also has the ability to scan your emotional body and your electromagnetic spectrum, which is essentially your thoughts and your limiting beliefs, the energetics of those thoughts and those limiting beliefs. So it has the ability to scan all of this and then tell you where you're imbalanced or where you're not a vibrational match to your highest and greatest blueprint. And then we'll develop the deliver the quantum scalar waves to make you a vibrational match or help you lift up your vibration and start to defragment these hard kind of clusters in your auric field or your emotional body, or your limiting belief systems, and start to sort of the same way that Reiki with a lot of light can break up these really dense hard nuggets inside the chakras. This technology basically does the same thing. So that technology is like this futuristic, I call it like alien technology gifted to us from the gods. I never thought that I'd be working with technology, but it is very, very, very sacred. And I think we're going to be seeing I know that we're going to be seeing a lot more technological advances. We're talking free energy. We're talking, the technology that's already available just hasn't been released to the public. Is like, it makes like traveling in airplanes look like riding on the backs of dinosaurs, truthfully. And this is like years and years and years and years of studying like and hearing things from the military industrial complex and people that have been involved in these types of projects, these underground projects and that kind of thing. And also from my own channeling, that I see like all of these technologies being released for free energy. Transportation is going to look completely different. And even the use of AI, that we think is a huge threat. But again, it's just technology, and technology can be used for the good or for the bad. Same thing when the ETs gave us nukes, right? They wanted nuclear energy could be used for very, very powerful good purposes. But what did? We weren't at a conscious level. Our consciousness wasn't vibrating high enough for us to be responsible for that type of technology. So we tried to blow ourselves up. But humanity is raising their vibration collectively to a level now where we are able to be responsible with these gifts of technology and technological advances. So I do see a lot of technology coming through, including the med beds. The med beds are basically these futuristic pods that work on light and sound frequencies. And you can chuck a person with stage 5 cancer in there and play the proper frequencies, and it will completely eliminate the cancer. It will completely make everybody well. Far beyond that, it has the capacity to age regress you and to like stop the free radicals in your body to attack cells. And basically everything that's living, everything that you see in this 3D space-time reality is manifested through light and sound frequencies. So that's what these med beds work on. And the same way, so instead of like the conventional way of treating cancer, for example, let's say, where you're taking something like radiation or chemo and you're just obliterating the rest of the body's immune system along with the cancer, this type of frequency technology works just like an opera singer when they can sing the proper, just the right appropriate frequency to shatter a wine glass and not really affect anything else. One sec. Okay. I'm back. Yeah, so the same way that they can sing a frequency that shatters a wine glass and just shatters the wine glass without affecting anything else in the room, that is the same way that these med beds can go after an illness or a disease in the body. Okay. Right now, what I believe about the wealth transfer is that we have all these blood-sucking elites at the top that literally eat children for breakfast, and they're like piggy in the middle. So we have, it will be a whole lot easier once they are all removed from power. That we're throwing the ball back and forth to each other, like us in the quantum realm. And we absolutely do have the conscious power to create what we want, but they are in the middle, taking your money, taking your taxes, trying to block this ball from getting through to the other side in every way, shape, or form that they can do. They're just trying to keep you enslaved. You got to think about the fact that all of the wars on earth are created by these elites. And so just think about that one thing just in and itself, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in the military that is wasted on wars over what they believe a finite amount of resources that we have here, because they're not bringing in the technology of free energy, because in their paradigm they don't want everybody to prosper, but in the 5D reality everybody gets to prosper. Nobody is in lack, nobody is left needing anything. So, which there's another point that I want to make about that, but they are creating all of these wars because of a finite amount of resources. So, which is bullshit, because we have the technology for free energy. It just hasn't been released yet to the public. But if you think about all those trillions of dollars that are just completely unnecessary, you think about that alone being divvied up back to the people, back into the hands of the people. And we all know that so going back to the Federal Reserve in 1912, our country, Canada, and the United States is not actually considered a country. It's actually a corporation, because I forget what year it was, but they basically became indebted to the Federal Reserve, and they owe the Federal Reserve money. They were bankrupt. And so they've been owing the Federal Reserve ever since. And what did they do? Instead of them paying back the money, they started the system where we get a red stamp on the back of our birth certificate, and we're assigned a number. We are just a slave to the system, and we pay the income tax. So we paid that debt back to keep the Federal Reserve happy, the same way that we pay money to, the government to keep them happy. They pay the Federal Reserve. So it's like this whole, hierarchy system that we are stuck in this system of slavery. Where was I going with this? So I definitely see that in the future, our consciousness is going to raise to a level where each person's individual vibrational frequency is either going to make it or not. It's going to be a vibrational match or not. And people that are evil and people that are, the elites that are doing all of this stuff to keep humanity suppressed, they're just not at a vibrational match to make it into this higher frequency, this ascension that the entire earth is going through. And what I wanted to mention, let me see if I can pause this for a second. No, that was wrong. Okay, I can't remember the one thing that I was going to touch on, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. But if you didn't know this, income tax is illegal. Yeah, it shouldn't be a thing. It's totally and completely illegal. So if you think about that, not paying income tax anymore, and you think about the wealth transfer from these, evil blood-sucking elites going back into the hands of the people, to conscious-led leaders of the world that want greater for humanity. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. You deserve it. You have been enslaved in a system for thousands of years. Not you specifically, but you and your past life reincarnations and humanity as a whole has been enslaved for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So we're indoctrinated to think that this is just the way that it is. But the 5D reality is completely different than that. It calls for everybody prospering. And just to put it in perspective for you, if there's like a self-worth blockage or something like that, just think about the fact that these are the people that have most of the wealth in the world. They're literally eating children for breakfast. Whether you want to believe that or not, it's not a conspiracy theory. You think about these people having wealth and using it for these super, super evil purposes. And then you think about if you had wealth like that, and even if you were just totally neutral with it, even if you didn't save the world with your money, even if you didn't completely bring in like all these new systems that were going to help humanity, but even if you just stayed neutral with your money and you just like lived a good life kind of thing, then you would still be better, that money, that wealth would still be better off in your hands than theirs. So I think about all of these well-meaning people that um sorry, people keep trying to call me all at once, of course, when I'm on a live. um that wealth is going to go back into the hands of the people. And we're also taught to believe that we are this, like, these money hungry, that human nature is just like clawing over top of each other, climbing on top of one another to like reach the pin flag at the top of the pole kind of thing. And that's not human nature. It's not, because in the future, truthfully, what I see is everybody is going to prosper. Nobody's going to be in want of anything. So what happens when we have access to everything that we need, like free energy, free healthcare? We're all vibrant, we're all thriving. The nature of humanity when we thrive is much like I saw when I was in Portugal at our retreat. Everybody is collaborating, everybody's giving, everybody's sharing. Like it's like a high. It's like you that's our nature, to love and to collaborate and to share and to give and to receive and then hug each other and love each other because of we have everything, we're so happy, we're overjoyed. That's the nature of humanity, not what we've been led to believe, that like we want to like climb on top of each other to get the best and stuff like that in itself is also a lie to keep us enslaved in the financial slavery system. Um okay. Um, yeah, so we have been enslaved for thousands of years. And right now we're at this point in time where we are shifting that. So it's kind of like a wheel, and it's shifting that reality, right? And so we're undoing so much of this slavery, which makes it really uncomfortable for some of the people who are waking up consciously, who are starting to get power of their regain the power of their consciousness, recognize their conscious power to create. It makes a really uncomfortable situation for people like that, for people like me, because we see both. We see both the 3D realm and the 5D realm right now. And it's like, oh my God, like, and you feel delusional by creating a reality in your mind that you can't see with these eyes. But that's the whole point of spiritual awakening, is that this third eye right here, your imagination, the things that you see with your consciousness, this is what they try to cover up with all of these images, all of the propaganda, all of the advertisement, everything that keeps you so busy and keeps you away from accessing this third eye in your quiet time through meditation. And this is what you use to create so that you can eventually see it with these eyes. Okay? You're the creator. And we're moving out of the matrix and into the creatrix, where we are harnessing the power of our consciousness to create the future of humanity. And I see that the future of humanity is incredibly bright. Like I said, we've got a lot coming in for us. We're seeing this conscious shift. So anybody who's really low vibrational, who's like constantly complaining and living in victimhood and really living in their ego, those that really only do see like wealth coming in for me, and like that kind of stuff, that kind of shit's just not going to fly. Like your vibrational frequency is just not going to make it into the ascension, because what I see is sort of like a block of energy that's moving. It's a fixed block of energy that's moving up, so it's ascending. And as the higher vibrational frequencies come in and add a layer, the lower vibrational frequencies have to drop off. And as like it's like an elevator, right? So as this goes higher, and as higher vibrational frequencies, the good comes in, the bad has to be snipped and cut off the bottom, because it's just not going to make it. You can't have a first floor up in the penthouse. Okay, you can't have low vibrational frequencies around like 15 hertz in the same vibrational realm as like 999 hertz. Okay, so that's naturally going to happen. This whole purification process, this whole cycle is going to happen with people, with things, with systems, all of that, because it's all energy, it's all vibrational frequency. And we are going to see the release of technologies where we are going to be able to travel the world a whole lot faster. We're going to be able to get to places. We're going to also have a lot of technology that comes in that is going to replace people's jobs. But because of the financial transfer that's going to happen back into the hands of conscious led people that can steward that wealth consciously, responsibly, with an open heart, with a high vibration, it's gonna free up a lot of like leisure time. So instead of like working 9 to 5 in this hamster wheel, working for our government, who's the middleman, stealing our taxes, stealing our money, being entrenched into the Federal Reserve, this whole system that we just keeps us so busy, we're going to start to see that we actually have everything that we need. We don't have to fight so hard, which is going to open up a lot more leisure time for us to see this gorgeous planet that we live in. And you're going to start seeing changes in people where, because people are rising in their consciousness and in their vibration with the rest of the ascension, the whole planet, you're gonna see like happier people. We're gonna go and like people are going to have a good life. So I mean, there's a lot of good stuff coming in for humanity, a lot of like prosperity for all. And like I said, so when people have everything, they don't need to fight for it. I'll give you like this really small but perfect example. When people have benefits, so massage therapy, I work at the clinic. When people have benefits, so many people that have benefits don't use them. So it's like when the option is there, there's still going to be people that don't use it. And even so, even if everybody used it, there's no finite amount of energy in the quantum realm because it is forever expanding. That's why Source individualized itself to begin with. So it's in expansion mode. So that's another thing too, is that with free energy, it completely eradicates this whole scarcity thinking about a finite amount of resources that we have on this planet, because we absolutely can run off free energy, which is like, you are not going to be fighting for oil anymore. You're not going to be fighting for lithium, all that kind of stuff. So at this point, I'm just kind of ranting. I've said everything that I wanted to say. I've shared everything that I wanted to share with you up until this point. So if you're still with me, then thank you for listening. And let me know in the comments section if this sounds all new to you, if this is just like, what? Or if you have gotten visual downloads of humanity like this too. And I want you to know that there are a lot of people who are seeing this vision. And even though right now, because we're still looking with these two eyes and seeing this gap in humanity of like how far we are from that, you're not delusional. It feels delusional to see a different reality with this. And we kind of get scared because we're like, are we going crazy when we start to use this eye instead of these eyes? You're not going delusional. Okay, that's the whole process of diving into the creatrix and using your consciousness to create your own reality and the reality of the collective. Because the way that works is if everybody does that, think about this bowl of people, billions and billions of people that are creating this. And even if somebody doesn't have, even if not everybody has the same vision, even if they differ a lot, which they are going to, your version of heaven is different than my version of heaven. But if we are all thinking about the in everybody's greatest and highest good and raising our vibrational frequency and opening our hearts, and a better future for humanity where everybody gets to prosper and there's peace and there's love, that's what we all want. That's human nature. We're going to get there. The universe isn't going to be worried about splitting hairs about everybody's different perception. We're going to get there. So as a collective, if you do this type of work, opening up this third eye, starting to dive into the creatrix and creating your own reality, and that what you want to see for the whole of humanity, if everybody starts to do that, think about how fast we're going to quantum leap as a whole. Woo! All right, guys, have a good day. Oh my gosh.